experience, there's a few different ways that backstory can kind of creep into slowing down the pace and kind of bogging your story down. One of them is with info dumping, of course, those long chunks of narrative that is there solely to explain or to set the world in a way. And you'll have different tolerances to this depending on your genre, depending on your current reader base or your target audience. However, in my opinion, it's almost universally better to feather it in, find a natural way for it to come up, and always, always, always make sure that those little bits are in the voice of the point of view character. Not like, hello, I'm the author and I built this world and I'm super excited, and also this is super important for the plot, so I'm gonna copy paste from my world bible and I'm gonna put this right here. Like, it can feel very much like an intrusion where the reader is with the character in the character's mind, and then all of a sudden the author is there saying, but wait, there's more, and then, you know, we have to get through the info dumping to get back to the main storyline. Another way backstory can be a problem is whenever you're doing flashback after flashback after flashback, and you kind of end up with a story within a story. You know, the main POV character is telling a story from the past for an entire chapter that isn't super technically relevant to what's going on in the POV character's life at that time. Often we as authors are super proud of the characters we've created. They have complex lives before the story starts, and we have to use that information in a way that informs their choices, the way that they view the world, the tone of their POV, but it doesn't always become vital that the reader has all the information that we have about their history before the book started. If you are seeing that there are flashbacks after flashbacks after flashbacks, if you are noticing that there are chunks of information and world-building backstory, plot relevant even, stuff that kind of murks up the scene and steals the tension away, or if you're concerned that that might be the case, even if maybe you as the author don't necessarily feel that way, because of course we love our stories, we love our world, we do not feel burdened by that level of information. I highly recommend that you find other authors to swap manuscripts with. I love beta readers. A lot of people can kind of struggle with finding beta readers that will give them more than a thumbs up and a thumbs down, or maybe who will give them feedback at all. So I recommend finding another author who you can trade manuscripts with, who reads your genre, who enjoys your genre. That's very important. Always take beta reader comments with a grain of salt, because anybody can be influenced by unconscious bias and preferences, and not everybody is trained in giving constructive criticism in an actionable form, you know, in a way that you will have guidance and be able to use necessarily. Anyways, if you don't want to go through the hassle of sending out feelers, finding strangers, sending your work out, getting feedback that you're not 100% sure about, you can get a manuscript assessment from Muse and Margins. It's like a dev edit light where we look out for common writing hiccups, common storytelling hiccups, and kind of give you a pathway forward towards your next round of revisions. Another thing that I offer in the developmental edits is called a book map. And it's an Excel spreadsheet, goes by chapter, and then it has all of the subplots and plot and character, you know, relations, and I'm explaining it terribly. But the point is that it gives you a visual guide, and if you wanted to make that for yourself, or of course get a developmental edit so that it is made for you as like a reverse outline that is very visual, that you can see exactly where maybe we're leaning too heavily onto this backstory, or we're leaning too far away from this specific plot line, or there hasn't been movement in the narrative in a while because we're spending a lot of time doing things that are not part of the direct plot. It could be a good idea.